Joining us now is Mr. Joe Grimes. Joe is the CEO of Travel Rides Incorporated. XNDA is their stock symbol. Joe, welcome back to the program.
Don, thanks so much for having me.
Now, I'll bet you didn't know, Joe, that audit was a four-letter word.
Yes. I've learned to spell audit with four-letter words in many different ways. We're almost through.
How's it coming along? Tell us about the progress.
Good. So one of the challenges associated with XNDA was that even though it's a public company, it's never been audited. And the challenge then with the auditors and my CPA and my SEC attorney is that we had to dig back quite a while, several years. I took over the company in January of 2020, and we had to go back 2017. So moving through the documentation, making sure it's all signed, preparing it for the auditor, and having the auditor bless it has been quite a challenge. But I'll tell you, it's extremely important for us to be fully reporting, to have our financials transparent and auditable and clear. So as we move the company forward, that'll never come into question. I think it's extremely important. It's allowed us to it's allowed us to go back through our accounting methods and procedures and make sure that they're viable and that there are no loose ends and that we're fully accountable. So it's painful, but it's extremely therapeutic. And I think the result will be very, very important, right? ESG these days, environmental, social, and governance, is critical as you move the company forward. And this will be done soon. So I'm painfully happy that it's where it is now.
You know, many people that follow the stock market have no idea how voluminous the paperwork is and how expensive the process is.
Remarkably so. And one of the difficulties is that it's so opaque. And at the beginning of the process, you have a task listing of what you need to do, what you need to achieve. And as you issue that and as you fulfill those requirements, it opens up new areas that they would like to pursue and to dive down into and make sure that everything's appropriately notified and notarized and documented and there's no ambiguities. You know, at the end of the day, my CPA, my auditor, and I sign the financials, and we want to make sure that it's fully represented and clear and transparent.
So now you see the finish line in sight. What's next for the company?
It's the finish line is coming up very quickly. We hope that it's this month, September, and in the next couple of weeks. What's in line? Outstanding stuff, outstanding opportunities. Give you an example. I don't know if you saw the news today, but Ford just went and hired Apple's secret executive associated with self-driving cars. And what does that mean? It means that although the first rollout of our technology platform is associated with shared rides and optimizing those rides and to provide tools to drivers that they currently don't have, our end goal and our patents are also associated with self-driving cars, and it's heating up and it's outstanding. And in line with that, we have a lot of what we consider very creative, very innovative technologies and ideas to roll out to the marketplace. And couldn't come at a better time.
The last time we spoke to you, you had anticipated revenues maybe happening in fourth quarter of this year. Is that still on the table?
Yes, it is. And it's really a function of when we can get the Ks and the Qs and the Super 8Ks done. So right now, that's where our mind is at, and that's what our goals are at, and we're trying to focus on them and get that achieved.
You got a ticker symbol and change in store too, don't you?
Yeah, so we believe that the symbol XNDA isn't representative anymore of what we're doing, the technology we're bringing to the table. We hired a separate SEC attorney focusing specifically on those. They're hired, they're ready, the paperwork is in, and the SEC and OTC are just waiting for us to get the Ks and the Super 8Ks and the Qs refiled, and we're charging forward.
What's next for the company?
So I'm a little tentative about sharing too much information that's not public. But clearly, I think we've talked to the market about possible acquisitions, improving the software platform, and hopefully rolling out a minimum viable product called an MVP very soon.
People are thinking that
Support is-
people thinking self-driving cars is a thing of the future, but it's really happening right now, isn't it?
Immediately. China is way ahead of us in technology. As I mentioned earlier on this call, Apple and Ford are involved with it. And it's critical for us to establish a base technology to bring on the drivers currently with shared rides so that they can take advantage of self-driving cars and they can leverage the technology and not be left behind.
Stock symbols XNDA for now. Tribal Rides Incorporated. Joe, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining us.
Don, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.